Hey guys, welcome to Thursdays on Queering Feminism. In case you missed last week was awesome. We just did like 20 questions. It was great. So you should check those videos out. This week we are talking about our definitions of queer. I'm making this video, I was supposed to make it a lot earlier. I'm still going to post on time, but I've been really sick this week. Like ridiculously sick. But I'm better now. I can breathe. If I cough, I'm sorry. I'm still pretty sick, but I'm better. Thanks to lots and lots of drugs. Very expensive drugs. So, I'm going to try to keep this short and simple because I really can't talk very long or else I'll cough up a lung. So, let's talk about my definition of queer. I feel like it's really important to first start off with talking about like a general definition of queer, what queer means, like I guess in a dictionary sense, because I feel like if you look at it from like I guess a definition that is accepted by society, then you can take it and pull it apart and make your own definition of it from that. I feel like maybe it's a little bit easier to understand. So I tend to go to Merriam-Webster, so I decided to check out Merriam-Webster 2009 online, and I looked up the definition of queer. So what I got was queer is differing in some odd way from what is usual or normal, and also the second definition that I found was eccentric, unconventional, or mildly insane. Yes, I'm mildly insane. No, okay, so that's like the conventional definition of queer, right, that we get if you were to look it up in the dictionary. And I think a dictionary is a really great tool to have. I use it all the time. So, alright, so for me though, queer is like an umbrella term. I feel it's really appropriate to use the word queer when addressing or referring to people in the LGBT community, because not everyone identifies as gay or lesbian. You know, there's so many different ways to identify. It's like Maya said, the alphabet soup. You know, I love alphabet soup, but not when I have to say like every single acronym. Like it just doesn't work. So I really like to use the word queer as an umbrella term to refer to anyone who doesn't fit in the I'm a female and I like males, or I'm a male and I like females heterosexual norm, which is what is accepted by society as normal. So I guess straight. Anyone that does not say that, oh, I'm straight or I'm heterosexual, I tend to think that maybe it's possible that they fit under the umbrella term, or my umbrella term is queer. You know, I like to think of it as this. You know, I do actually identify as a lesbian, but just as much I identify as queer. I see identifying as queer as my way of avoiding having my identity put into a little box, right? Because society, when they look at the LGBTQRSTUVZ community, they do try to put us into this little tiny box, right? They're like, they have to fit these specific cookie cutter traits in order, and then they have to go in this label or this label. Oh, she likes women, so she's a lesbian. Okay, so let me pose this question to you, society. If I'm a lesbian and my girlfriend, who actually identifies as genderqueer, what if she decides she wants to be trans? You know, what if she decides she identifies as a trans individual? Then what does that make me? Because automatically that's what society wants to know, is what does that make me if I'm a lesbian but I'm dating a trans, FTM, right? And so I guess that using the term queer is my way of keeping out of that little box, of, you know, not letting people put me in that little box and tell me what's acceptable for my identity, because that's essentially what it is people trying to tell me what's acceptable. You know, if you are a lesbian, you like females, end of story. You know, and that's not true at all. You know, there are male identified lesbians. for instance, there's this one individual on YouTube, I forget the name of the YouTube user, but they identify as an FTM, but he's dating a gay male. So that's another instance of where someone would try to put a label on that, and that's something you can't just put a label on. Essentially, I keep repeating myself, but that's my thing, is queer is a way for people to not be put into a box, right? We're under an umbrella, and I feel like queer is a really empowering term. You know, empowerment is my favorite word, and for a reason. The LGBT community is so diverse, so diverse, that, you know, we have so many differences. The one thing we have in common is that we are queer, you know, and so I feel like that's one of our uniting traits as a community, and that's something we have to, you know, I guess play on and use it for our empowerment, you know. I hope this is making sense. I'm probably gonna end up in this pretty quickly because I'm starting to cough a lot and I'm having to do a lot of editing. But essentially, you know, queer to me is the best term to use for anyone, not only you know, that's not straight, but maybe what I'm trying to say is, you know, if you don't necessarily know how someone identifies, please don't assume. Please be appropriate. I myself have done this a lot. I've assumed that just because there's a girl next to me who happens to like girls, that she identifies as a lesbian. But I have come to find that I'm very wrong. And so I feel like it is appropriate that we use the term queer. You know, especially when you're talking to someone who you don't know how they identify. Don't stick them into a box, because you wouldn't want to be stuck into a box. So that's my motto. Don't stick me into a box. I like to roam around and be free and expressive and do whatever the fuck I want, you know. So that's my take on the term queer. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching Thursdays with the Desbian, and I'll see you next week. Alright, bye.